Over to Dr. Girish Valavalkar. Thank you.
Thank you, Prachi, for such lovely introduction. Thank you, Dr. Nidal, for inviting me here. And I thank you all who are present here in this festive atmosphere and Sunday morning. I welcome you all. When today is we can say that this age is the entrepreneur's age. Uh, India and basically Indian youth has is showing inclination to move to entrepreneurship from jobs. At present, 55,000 startups are working in India, and around 5 lakh people are working in these startups. After pandemic, we expect that startups will grow further. Currently, they are growing at the rate of 20%, but in future it may go about 30% because government is encouraging entrepreneurship. In addition to that, now big corporate houses prefer and will prefer to get their work outsourced because in pandemic they have realized that getting the raw material or services from the company which is not related to them is more profitable. So they will encourage entrepreneurship more than jobs, and that will also have a big impact on the job market and entrepreneurship growth. This shift from jobs to entrepreneurship will influence the texture of common man's normal life also. So today, youth is keen to know more about entrepreneurship, and common man also wants to know what exactly entrepreneurship and how it is going to help him or how it is going to affect his life. Everybody wants to know how entrepreneur and entrepreneurship can succeed. Basically, if you see, what is success? Success is the state of condition of meeting a defined range of expected expectations or goals. You decide a goal and you achieve it in within time, speculated time. It is called as success. Success has got certain rules. Statements or guidelines to achieve the success or accomplish the goal, they are called as rules. Every for every game, for every work you do, there are certain rules. What are overrules? Sometimes you have to set aside the decision or ruling made earlier. You know it that you cannot follow that and you have to keep it aside. And you have to go beyond the standard rules. If you go beyond the standard rules, you achieve your goal. And it is you who decide whether you have to go beyond the rules or not and when you have to go beyond the rules. I'll tell you very interesting incidents. This man, Bob Beamon, he was an athlete in the event of long jump, American athlete. He started his career in America in local competitions and he was doing fantastic. So people noticed him and they realized that he can become Olympic player and he can win Olympic medal for USA. One coach in USA, his name was Rolf, he saw him. He observed him. Mr. Bob Beamon was very good athlete, but he was very casual about his life. He wanted to spend evenings in bars, do party with his friends till late nights or early mornings. And then he was doing practice as well with it, and he was successful. He was winning all the competitions in the country. Mr. Rolf, the coach, who was very experienced in this field, experienced coach, he told Beamon that you win Olympic medal if you work with a discipline. Bob thought over it and he decided to follow the instruction or rules given by Mr. Rolf, the coach. So he started his practicing, getting up early in the morning at 6 o'clock, going to the ground at 7:30, practicing till 11:30. It was going on well. He was doing it. But there was not much improvement in his performance. Rather, the performance was going down a little bit. He worked like this for 6 months. Then Bob went to Mexico. That year, the Olympic event was in Mexico. So our coach was with him, and he went to Mexico. For 5 days before, they went to the city for Olympic event, and they started practicing. Coach asked him to wake up at 6 o'clock, come at 7 o'clock in the field and do this practice. He was doing it, and his performance was going down. Bob realized it cannot work out like this. He was not able to cover the distance which he was covering before coaching. So something was wrong. But he continued. Now the main event was the next day. And day before that, he realized that something is wrong. That evening, he went out. He sat in the bar, enjoyed with friends till morning. Till 6 o'clock, he was out. 6 o'clock, he came to his room. And 7 o'clock, he went to the ground for the event. His coach, Rolf, was sure that this man has lost everything and he cannot win anything in this Olympic. He is out. But Bob Beamon jumped. And his jump created a world record. He beat earlier record by 2 feet. You imagine 2 feet. In world record, centimeters and millimeters are valuable. His Bob Beamon's jump on that day was 2 feet more than earlier world record. It was 8.9 feet. And his record was unbeaten till 1991, means 23 years, his record was unbeaten. In 1991, Mike Powell crossed it. So this man created a record which was unbroken for 23 years, and under these conditions, when he has broken all the rules, he had gone to, actually before Olympic event, people take rest, they think, they meditate, all these things. He didn't do any of these things. He went to the bar, sat in the bar, and he did this. It doesn't mean that before your exam or before your event or before critical day you should go in the bar, but this man, he wanted to throw his pressures. He has worked in the rule. He had worked in the framework of the coach. He had practiced it. He knew he was perfect in his practice. He was perfect in his techniques, and then he decided to throw his pressure out, and he set rules for himself, and he created the world record. Similarly, every entrepreneur needs to have his own rules to get his own success. Basically, what is entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is the person who sets up a business or businesses taking on financial risk in hope of profit. The goal of entrepreneur or entrepreneurship is profit. When you are working with this goal, you have to take risk. And when you achieve this, you are successful. You are you get recognition from the world. You get money, but you have to follow certain rules to achieve this success. Sometimes with standard rules, it may not be possible. So you have to set rules for yourself. Now we can come to this level where there is still confusion in everybody's mind. What is the difference between corporate executive and entrepreneur? Both of them are professionals, but internally there is a huge difference, and which is that this difference makes the entrepreneur more successful than corporate executive. Corporate executive is a person hired by organization to get the right things done in the area given to him. This area may be marketing, finance, accounting, research and development. So the person is hired by the organization, and the organization asks him to work in his area and deliver only in his area. Usually he has formal degree in that area, and the degrees are more, the success for him is more. executive's growth path is decided. He starts as an officer, then becomes executive, then manager, general manager, and if has capacities, then vice president. If has capacities more than that, CEO. That is his path is decided. And at every step, he's getting increments. Every year, he's getting increments. His life is good. Company pays him a lot, and of course, they make him work also a lot. And after a particular point, he reaches a particular stage of growth. While entrepreneur's life is not easy, entrepreneur may not be highly qualified, but he should have sense of finding out the exact opportunity of business and converting that opportunity to business and earning money from that, profits from that. That is the skill of an entrepreneur. He is taking ability, and he should have ability to work continuously for quite years when he is not getting much money, much rewards or comfort of life which an executive gets. There is an interesting example. This Matsushita, he was a worker in Osaka Electricals. There was a company in Japan, name was Osaka Electricals, and this Matsushita was a worker there. He developed one socket to put the bulb, and he was very happy with his invention. He is happy with that socket. So he went to his upper executive, that is must be assistant manager, and showed him this socket. Assistant manager was a company executive. He refused to make any comment on that, and he said it's okay, it is fine, but it is of no use for us. But Matsushita was confident about his creation. He thought over it. He thought to do that and do something with that invention. He resigned from the job and started making his sockets in a small garage. He became successful. He named the creator of the company and named that company as Panasonic. All of us know what Panasonic is. We have used tape recorders of Panasonic, electric goods of Panasonic, and the last year turnover of Panasonic was 7 lakh thousand rupees, sorry, crore. It is so a worker, because of his passion and because of his faith in himself and product, he converted a socket into a multinational company, which is kind of Panasonic. 7 lakh thousand crore rupees turnover. So Matsushita had talent to create something new. He had taken risk. But only talent or only natural skills are not enough. Talent is natural aptitude or natural skill. But only natural skill is never enough to give success to entrepreneur or to give a big success in any field. That talent has to be nurtured, nourished, and worked on properly. Very interesting. We can see these two people. All of us know these two people. One is Ravi Shastri, other is Vinod Kambli. They are from Bombay, great chess players from Bombay. All of us know him. If you ask anybody, he will say that Vinod Kambli was much more talented than Ravi Shastri. It is a fact. Everybody who knows cricket accepts that Vinod Kambli was much more talented than Ravi Shastri. If you compare their career, Ravi Shastri started as a bowler. He came to bat on 11th number, that is last number. From there, he rose to opener. He created the records of hitting 6 sixes in an over. He got award or selected as a champion of in Benson Hedges Trophy in Australia. He won Audi there, and he played 80 tests. While Vinod Kambli, he played just 17 tests, and when he played his last test, his age was 23. This is because Vinod Kambli never worked on himself. He was happy with what he was doing, and that's why what he was thrown out from the team. So even if you are talented, you get extraordinary talent, you have to work on your talent. That is extremely important. If you are entrepreneur, want to create something, working on yourself is the first step towards success. When you create something, there must be purpose behind it, or there is a purpose. The reason behind it, there is always a reason behind the creation of enterprises. Entrepreneur's sense or need or determination is the purpose, and he have his own intention or objective usually. As per rule, when you start any enterprise, you should sit, you should make a business plan, see what you are going to invest and how much you are going to get in return and when you are going to get return. It is the basic rule. But sometimes one passes this rule unknowingly. He is Mr. Perry Omdivar. He was a computer programmer. He wanted to sell few goods of his home. So he created a website and put the list of the goods he wanted to sell on that website. The goods got sold. When others, the neighbors saw this website, they started putting the list of their goods which they wanted to sell on his website. Slowly, Mr. Omdivar realized that many people are putting their list on this website. So he started charging them to put their his website. Slowly his website grew, it converted into company, and the name of the company is eBay. We all of us know about this company. Last year, the turnover of this company was 5,00,000 crores. So it started just from a list of the goods to discard or to sell, and it was converted into company. It was the personal rule set by Mr. Omdivar. Similarly, this is very interesting. We all of us know natural ice creams. All of us love natural ice creams. Dr. Nayak is the person who created natural ice creams. Mr. Nayak, he was working as a salesman in one ice cream company in Goregaon, and he was like moving to sell his ice creams, and the area he was given to him by his manager was Juhu. He liked Juhu area because there were many film stars, and he was happy. He was selling ice creams in that area. One day, his company was closed. It was in loss, so they had to close the. Mr. Nayak was unhappy, sad. Losing job was one thing, but second thing was he thought he will never be able to come to Juhu now. That troubled him. That he was disturbed because of that. So he decided to put up a small ice cream shop of his own in Juhu area. He put that. He gave the name Naturals, and from there, this company has grown. We know Naturals ice cream have their outlets right from Kerala to Punjab and Ludhiana. The turnover is around 500 crores at present. So the purpose, which is very, very different and very personal purpose, that he wanted to be in Juhu. Perhaps this cannot be the purpose of, if you ask any business analyst, he said, can this be purpose of starting an enterprise and being successful? But this happens because he had passion. He was genuine, and he genuinely believed what he wanted, and he worked accordingly. When you start any enterprise and believe in yourself, it gives rise to new innovations. The innovation is the practical implementation of ideas that result in introduction of new goods or services or improvement in the offering goods and services. In this innovation, idea generation and their execution is most important. Most of the successful entrepreneurs have innovative ideas, and they were able to convert their innovative ideas into business. They could execute their innovative ideas. Sometimes idea can be concept, like this Howard Schultz, he had a concept. He was a salesman, small salesman in a very small coffee shop in America. People used to come and sit in his coffee shop and he used to give them coffee. He used to serve them coffee as a salesman. While working in this shop, this man realized that every coffee shop is in coffee business and it provides service to people. He said, I can do something different. And what is different? That I will be in people's business. I'll make people comfortable. And along with that, I will provide them coffee. So he started a shop with luxurious decor. People will feel, the whole arrangement was such that people will come and they will feel like sitting there, spending some time there. They will like having chat. He started this. His shop flourished, and now we know this shop as a Starbucks coffee. Starbucks coffee chain has come from this concept that I want to be in people's business and service them coffee or provide them coffee. No rule, no written theory behind this. There can be innovations in services. You see Uber and Ola, what are they? They are simple softwares which provide you taxi service. But this Uber came first internationally, and then its Indian version, Ola. They have changed the taxi business completely, and today they have become part of our life. Everyone of us have Ola and Uber apps on our mobile, and now most of us travel by Uber and Ola because it is more convenient than car also many times. So this is innovative service. Another very interesting. This is the innovation of marketing and how it started. This man, his name is Charles. He is not an entrepreneur. He was just a writer and a flop writer. He had written some books which were not selling. No publisher was entertaining him. And he wanted to do something in his life. So he thought that he discussed with publisher, but the publisher said, no, I can't entertain you. You have already written books which are not doing well. So this man said, give me 2 pages in the publisher used to publish one monthly magazine. So he said, give me 2 pages in your monthly magazine. It is a normal bulletin sort of magazine. So publisher thought actually he wanted some space to be filled. So he said, okay, I'll give you 2 pages. So this man started writing novel. He decided he'll write episode of 2 pages every month, and every monthly issue he will publish 2 pages episode, or 2 pages chapter. 4 chapters were published, and the publisher realized that people are waiting for his book only because to read what is happening next in what Mr. Charles Dickens was writing. The name of the novel the chapters was The Pickwick Papers. Now it is considered as one of the best sellers all time and is all-time classic. After 10th episode, it created havoc. People wanted to read this, and the publisher increased his copies by 20-fold of his bulletin. He started it was innovative marketing. It happened in 1836, and today, this woman, she is Ekta Kapoor, television queen of India. She uses the same principle. Create an episode, make people wonder what will be happening in the next episode, keep them curious so that they come at a particular point and sit in front of TV. And she created so many serials, and she is one of the successful and one of the richest ladies in India. Innovative marketing started by somebody, still being used. Another part of entrepreneurship in the beginning is strategy. You have to have a perfect strategy to be successful. A plan of action designed to achieve a long-term or overall aim is strategy. Simple definition. plan something to achieve something else, or to achieve your one goal, maybe short, maybe small goal, maybe big goal. It's called as strategy. Every one of us is a born strategist. Please note this statement. Every one of us is a born strategist. For example, suppose we are sitting in office around 4 o'clock. Your old friend tells you that, phones you and tells you that I'm in Bombay and I have called a few other friends also, our college friends, and I will like to have dinner with you and I will like you to join you for dinner with us. You want to go? So if you sit with your friends, it will be late for you to go home, and your wife will be very, and there will be quite problem at home. But you want to go. So what you do? You call your wife and say, "Hi, how are you? I'm working so hard at home. I understand that I realized suddenly that you have not seen any movie for so long. So new movie is releasing on new Akshay Kumar's movie. If your wife likes Akshay Kumar's movie is releasing on Sunday, would you like to go on this Sunday for this movie?" She says yes. You book the ticket, and then she's happy. You go with your friends, you have party, you come home late, and you tell her that I have booked the ticket. She's happy. She knows what you have done, why you have booked the tickets, but yet she's happy. You are happy, because your goal was you wanted to have a peaceful night. You wanted to go home without any struggle, any jhagda, any problems. So you have achieved that. You are successful in your goal. So you have created a small strategy. This is simple strategy which I am talking about. This is strategy, and everybody does it knowingly, unknowingly. Companies like McDonald's study it. They study the market and do it. India, when they came to India, first 2 years, nobody was interested in buying their products. Some fish or fillet, something. Nobody, the American products, nobody was buying. So they searched Indian mentality. They worked on India. They understood the taste of Indian people and started products like Aloo Tikki or Mac Aloo Shahjahan. They are typical Indian taste products, or it is typical Indian food, given with burger, McDonald's burger, and some fillings in that. But it is extremely successful in India. And now, when I had gone to Switzerland, I saw they have Mac Justri. There's some Justri, some product name is Justri. The Justri is the Swiss product. Swiss people like it. So they have converted that. The same thing. Instead of Aloo Tikki, they put that Justri and same other fillings. People like it. It is very popular there. So that is the strategy. It is customer-centric strategy. You think about and give them what they want. You will be doing well. Another interesting strategy, which was designed by Procter & Gamble when they came to India. Very interesting one. Entrepreneurs should know how they work. These big companies work. Business analyst team of Procter & Gamble came to India to search the possibility and profit proportion that P&G can get in India. And they realized they cannot get profits in India because the universal competitor of Procter & Gamble, that is Hindustan Lever, that time it was Hindustan Levers, now it is Unilever's India, was dominating the market. And there was no place for anybody to come to India. And the product range of Procter & Gamble and Unilever, they are same. Detergents, cosmetics. So went back there and they told the chairman that we cannot go to India because there is no scope for us. We will bear the losses only. Chairman thought over it. He had different way of thinking. He said, okay, we will go to India. We will start full operations as we are doing in any other country. And we will be mentally prepared that next 10 years, we get only losses. We will bear the losses for 10 years. Big decision. Of course, Procter & Gamble could do this because they had a lot of money and they had a lot of backing of finance. and they're getting profits from various countries. But to take this decision that we will be in a country which we don't know but yet we'll be there and we'll take all the losses for 10 years, and after 11th year we'll think about whether we can get our profit or not. They did it. They came to India in 1989, and today they are making profit of around 250 crores every quarter. Every 3 months they are making profit of 250 crores, and their share price today is 14,500 rupees in India, which is one of the highest price of shares in Indian share market. Again, this was totally out of box thinking, different rule. There was no rule, rather you cannot say 10 years I'll operate with full efficiencies and bear the losses, which will be millions and millions of dollars. But they did it, and they are successful. When you do the business or anything, I would say not via business, anything what you do in life needs your focus, complete focus. Focus is the center of interest. This focus arises from knowledge and awareness. It gives you clarity in thoughts and desire. And once you are clear in your thoughts and desire, your efficiency and productivity is increased. Entrepreneur should be very clear that what he exactly wants. Maybe his personal need, maybe his personal objective, maybe his personal desire. But he should be clear that I want this, that's why I am in this field. And I want to start an enterprise because this is my field, this is my customer, and I will cater them. When Steve Jobs, when he was in the beginning, when he was designing iPod, he was sitting with his team, technical team. The technical team of Apple, all of them were brilliant scientists as Steve Jobs. And when he mentioned that I want to do this type of product, they came up with various ideas, fantastic ideas, that you can do it on different wavelength, they can do some different sound waves, something that they were coming. Steve Jobs listened to them, all of them, his technical team. And he said, you are giving me ideas, technical ideas. I can give you such 150 ideas. But I don't want that. I want just 3 ideas or 3 features in my product which will make customers to buy my product. Just give me 3 features. Don't discuss about technical things. Was towards his product and towards his customers, and he was exactly clear what he wanted to give to the customers. Naturally, iPad was a super hit product, and it is still super hit. Similarly, when you create a product like iPad came to the market, it had impact. It washed off all other products immediately. So impact is the use of product or service having strong effect on consumers. If you give something to consumers which has got strong effect on his lifestyle, if it changes his lifestyle, it makes him more comfortable or relaxed in his life, people will jump on it. We can see this. No need to speak about that. Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, they are part of our life. Our life, they're part of our every hour or every minute, I would say. We have to see WhatsApp, we have to see Twitter, we have to see Facebook. We cannot imagine life without these 3-4 things now, because they have so much impact on our life. They completely changed our communication style. They completely changed not only style, they completely changed our communication content also. What we speak now or what we send WhatsApp messages, images, they are very different from what we used to earlier. So they have so much impact on our life that there is no chance that any entrepreneur coming in the market with such products which will create impact on the customer can be unsuccessful. He cannot be unsuccessful. He will be definitely successful. You have to find out such product. Difficult to find out, but you have to think about it. Then another very important part is negotiations. Negotiation is discussion aimed at reaching the agreement, beneficial outcome for both the parties. It leads to deal. The deal is correct. Negotiation decides what you are going to get in short term and what you are going to get in long term. You have to be extremely careful while you are doing negotiations. One negotiation which is discussed decades now is this. IBM and Mr. Bill Gates. IBM was #1 company in computers in the world. That time computers were becoming popular, and IBM had made its position in that field. It had got absolutely no competition. They have developed one computer and they wanted operating system for that. So there was one small person called as small entrepreneur with very, very small office. Company's name was Microsoft and his name was Bill Gates. They called Bill Gates to design the software for them or operating system for them. Bill Gates designed. IBM liked the operating system. Then they started negotiation. So Bill Gates asked them that I should get so much amount of money and I should be able to sell it to other people also. As it was demanded by IBM wanted the exclusive rights for the operating system. Wanted to use only for them, so that was the clause. But in negotiation, IBM executives thought that okay, we'll ask him to reduce the price and let him sell to other people. Bill Gates said fine. They reduced the price to 30% and allowed Bill Gates to sell his operating system to other computer companies. And that is considered as the worst decision made in any negotiations in last 50 years. Because Bill Gates was free to sell operating system to other computer companies. Other computer companies were happy to get the machines, the operating system which IBM is using. So they will probably that we are using the same operating system which IBM is using. And because they are getting this operating system, many companies started computer manufacturing. So IBM lost its monopoly. And Bill Gates became the richest man in the world. He's still today one of the richest people. And Microsoft has created the history. So that one wrong decision, one wrong negotiation has changed the history of business. So negotiations, one has to be extremely careful when it goes, maybe with your bank, initial stages, some financiers. What clauses you are signing will decide your future. Even if you work very hard and if you are not good in negotiations, you may lose the profits or you may lose the benefits of your idea, your creation, and your hard work. So negotiation is extremely beneficial, extremely important, and it has got its own way of doing it. Once you do all these things, there is a possibility that your venture is successful. What is successful venture? In simple words. Return on investment in desired time limit. Whatever you have invested, which you have got back in the time which you expected that in 2 years, 3 years, I'll get my money back, and you have got it. Reach break-even point, that is the point which is total revenues equal to total cost expenses. When I've invested, suppose 10,000 rupees, and I have got 10,000 rupees from this. In a time 1 year's time, whatever time I have given, then you are at a big break-even point. Once you reach break-even point, then again rules of enterprise and for entrepreneur who has reached this break-even point, they are totally different. You become a successful entrepreneur. And for successful entrepreneurs, you have to be more careful. You have to work in a very different way. At time, when you have reached a certain level, people know you. Financer will be interested in you. Customer will be interested in you. Market will like to know what you're doing. That time, the most important thing they check is ethics. Ethics is moral principles that govern organization's behavior or conducting of its business. Your moral behavior, how you behave, how do you keep your words? That is the most important thing. Your moral values is the most important thing. The branch of knowledge that deals with moral principles and values is ethics in simple language. So you should have high values and high moral. That will be decided, that will be checked or evaluated by the market and outsiders when you have reached to a certain level of success. When you see this logo and this name Tata in India, you know it is the most ethical company. Rather, business ethics is synonymous to Tata at this point of time. And when you see this picture, you feel there are no ethics to this organization. Swiss Bank. We think people all over the world put their black money there in this bank. And this bank protects their black money. So it is non-ethical. It is true to a certain extent, but see, in a business point of view, Swiss banks, they are considered to be the most loyal organizations to their customers. Whatever you put in that bank will not go to anybody else. If you don't want the bank also to know your name, they can give you the only ID number, and that you can operate through that ID number. Bank also doesn't know who you are. This much loyalty they can. Actually, this also has come out without planning. This banking, Swiss banking the situation came that they went beyond the rules. What happened, I'll tell you. In 1938, till 1939, Swiss banks were like normal of the world, like our State Bank of India or Bank of India, Central Bank. They were working in a similar way. When around 1938, when Second World War was in progress, that time Switzerland was declared as a neutral state, neutral country. So people all over the world realized if they want to keep their money safe, they have to keep it in Switzerland, in Swiss banks, because nobody is going to go there. Their money will be safe. So people rushed to Swiss bank. Swiss bank, as a very good entrepreneurs, they took the advantage of situation and they allowed people to put their money without asking any details. Swiss banks grew very fast. They're so powerful now in the world that, and so efficient, and so people have confidence in that bank. I'll tell you that in 1997 the two banks merged. USB, United Swiss Bank, and Credit Suisse, they merged. And the first day of the bank operation, they had got 20,00,000 crore rupees deposits in one day. So you can imagine how much faith they have created in their mind. It is good or bad is a different story. It is moral or not, it is for other country is a different story. But as an enterprise and its customer, they are successful. They have crossed all the rules, or they have changed the rules, I would say. They have modified the rules and they are successful. Good or bad, ethics or ethical or non-ethical is everybody has to decide. But as a business point of view and customers point of view, they are extremely ethical. Next is competition. When you are reached certain level, people know that you are in the field and you can be threat to them or you can be competition to them. So competitors start looking at you. Competition is a rivalry where two or more parties strive for a common goal which cannot be shared. Certain goals, certain things cannot be shared. So you have to, one will be winner, one will be loser. Obviously, there is one's gain is the other's loss. Competition is, it cannot be avoided. It is the fundamental rule of universe, and it exists between entities like right from microorganisms, animals, individuals, industries, economics, and social groups. Right from microorganisms who are growing on a slice of bread, which we said which is wasted bread. There is also competition between various types of microorganisms to eat that bread. So competition is part of life. You cannot run away from competition. No entrepreneur can run away from competition. Competition of various levels. If you succeed in competition, you get quite a few steps more, or quite a few steps ahead of other, and you get advantage from the market. Like this is a very interesting example. Surf and Nirma. When Surf was India's perhaps only detergent powder, or most the leading detergent powder in 1970s. That time Nirma, the Karsan Bhai Patel, the founder of Nirma, was manufacturing one small detergent for local people in Ahmedabad. He got good response from people, and his price was much cheaper as compared to Surf. Naturally, MNC has got its overheads, extra huge overheads, and Nirma was working in a small cottage, so he had got no overheads, so he could sell it in much lesser price as compared to Surf. He was not advertising that time. So because the product was efficient, but it was available at lesser price, so it became successful. People started buying Nirma, and it became so successful that Surf had to bring in various varieties to compete with Nirma, but they couldn't. Even today, they can't compete with Nirma. Nirma is still better than Surf today. This is a very unique example, and it is a business study, and rather not only in management books, but also in Hindu and Unilever's books. They have taken this competition as a unique case study. A person or a company which is working in cottage can defeat a multinational company like Unilever only because the calculation of Mr. Karsan Bhai Patel and his ideas about being successful and how to being successful. Another is very interesting now, Netflix. All of us know Netflix. In lockdown, Netflix was a very good reason for us to, or it has given us good time. It is the most popular entertainment now. Recently, a journalist asked chairman of Netflix, now with whom you are competing? Television, theater, books. What exactly you are competing with now? Whom we are competing with now? Movies. With whom you are competing? Chairman of Netflix said, we have left all of them much behind long back. They are not our competitors now. Now we have only one competitor, and that is sleep of human being. People put Netflix off only when they cannot control their sleep. So now we want to create more content or more web series which will make people to extend their, increase their control on sleep. It's very strange. Very strange. But it is true. It is truth. If all of us, we many times we watch web series and we don't sleep. We want to see that. We want to see the end of that web series. That is what Netflix has observed, and they have played on it, and they have created their own rule that they will compete with sleep of human being. Another thing which is very important, very, very important in any business, when you have reached, when we have you started enterprise, you have reached a break-even point, successful, your competitors are looking at you now. At that time, it is extremely important for you to improve your product. Continuous improvement in product, service, and approach is mandatory. If you don't do that, you will be left behind in the market. Complacency is the first step towards losing. Remember this. Complacency is the first step towards losing. If you are complacent and you say, okay, then I've done enough in my life now. I don't want to work more. And these products which I have developed, they are good and they are happy. I'm happy with it, and I'm sure that they will work out for coming years. It never happens. When you see these pictures, many of us who are elderly people, you know this Walkman. All of us have used it who are elderly. But if you ask any youngsters, teenagers, youngsters, they don't know what Walkman is. Walkman was a breakthrough product for Sony. Sony company, Japanese company, became number one company in electronics when they discovered this Walkman. It was a novel concept that time. You can listen to songs moving around. It was very novel. People bought it. It was hit all over. People were buying it. Sony was very happy. They're increasing their profits because of this product, and they started working on it. They started various versions of Walkman. The small Walkman, large Walkman, Walkman with headphones, Walkman with attached headphones, without headphones. So many things they were doing on this. They were working only on this. Product was doing well. Sony was not aware that at the same time, 1,000 miles away from Japan, in America, the company Apple was working on digital music system. They didn't know what digital music system is. They didn't know what digital electronics also exactly at that time. They were happy with, the complacent with Walkman. Steve Jobs came up with iPad. Today we know iPad, and this generation doesn't know what Walkman is. Because they were complacent. Akio Morita, who was founder and chairman of Sony, he accepted later on that it was my biggest mistake that I didn't bother about the new trend of digital technology. And I was happy with this Walkman, and that Sony paid for this. So you cannot be happy with your product. Similarly, you cannot be happy with your styles, like or approach. This man, you know, Rajkumar, all of us know him. He was a very big, famous actor. He has excellent style. But that style, and he had got crores of fans in India. So he got carried away with that style. He was happy with that style. And then he started giving impression that if I ask him to say some romantic dialogue, he will say that, okay, हम मोहब्बत भी करेंगे, जरूर करेंगे, लेकिन वक्त हमारा होगा, वो जगह हमारी होगी, और मोहब्बत करने के लिए हमें लड़की की भी जरूरत नहीं, हम खुद ही से करेंगे. When people started thinking that this man can speak like this, he is in love with himself to this level, he was rejected by the audience and he was thrown out. Why I've taken this example is he was an entrepreneur, an enterprise in himself, which has got crores of customers. And they would have been his customers if he would have changed his style, or he would have understood something, that there's something exists beyond his own style. So he lost it. Entrepreneur cannot be complacent. Or why entrepreneur? I would say a normal human being also should not be complacent. It should be working. He should be always working. If you stop working, you are finished. So being in the and working hard is the only thing which keeps you alive and which keeps you moving, and you should be always doing it. Now, when you want to sustain, you have started a venture, a startup company, you have reached break-even, then you are noticed by competitors, you have overcome all that second phase problems like competition, negotiations, all these things, and now you are a enterprise or company which is respected by people, and people want to develop, either buy your products or buy your shares or fund in your projects. So you are successful. Now sustain and further growth is again very important. And I will tell you, when you start up some company, don't think that it will be a small enterprise. I will have one factory at Ambernath. or Mulund. Don't think like that. Think to create one big corporate house, because when you start enterprise, every enterprise has hidden potential in it to become a big conglomerate. Remember this: any enterprise which is started has potential to become a business conglomerate, business corporate house. So think big when you start. You have come reach to this level now. You have got your own customers, you have got your own funding facilities, you have got your own team. At that time, most of the entrepreneurs, they say, "Bus ho gaya. It is enough now. Now I want to uh, enjoy my family life. I want to do whatever enjoy my hobbies, maybe gardening, maybe reading, whatever it is." First thing is, this never happens. You cannot stop working and enjoy all these hobbies. It will never happen. It should go. They should go hand in hand. If you stop, you have been working for 25 years, 30 years continuously, and suddenly you say, I will stop. It is not going to happen. You are, you may get, you may be satisfied with the work or the range of products what your company is providing, but now, as a third stage, you have to expand the product range and service range. You have to increase your efficiency levels, your people, or your, or maybe now, suppose you are doing mechanically, some you can do it digitally. It increases the efficiency levels. A lot of increase in efficiency happens if you go digital. You go for alliances. You can create mergers and acquisitions with big companies, bigger companies from your field or some other field, and then you can grow further. Growth is always important. It is the must. At this stage, every stage, first stage, growth is different. You have to go meet customers, you meet bankers. Second phase, you have to keep the eye on outside world. Third stage, again, you have to think about yourself, about your organization, and grow and expand it in various directions. The best example which has grown in this way is, it is in front of our eyes, so I'm giving this example. It is Dr. Kiran Mazumdar. She started a small company in a very small room in around 1980, very small. And very interestingly, she was manufacturing enzymes. Enzyme is a high biotechnology product which requires high sophisticated equipment, but she managed to do it in a very small premises. First thing, that is a big step, going beyond the rules, that you manufacture biotechnology based products in small premises, and that was that time in 1980s when biotechnology was not much known to. She started this, going beyond the rules. Then once she got successful there, she was manufacturing enzymes. She come to a certain level. Then the number one company in enzyme manufacturing, it is Novo Nordisk, they saw her and they offered her for the merger. She didn't accept merger. She said, I'll sell it to you. They bought from her. They bought it from her. They gave around, it suppose the company was around 60 crores at time, they gave around 500 crores to her to buy that company. At the same time, she has started other pharmaceutical products like statins, statins, which was doing well. In that period of time, she became, all of us know, the richest woman, not only in India, but Asia. And her company, which is a biotechnology company, which is biotechnology is totally developed world's monopoly, she broke it. And today, Biocon is one of the leading companies in biotechnology globally. So this is all, every step she has gone. She has created her own rules, gone beyond the rules, and created an empire, sustained her empire, created enormous wealth for her and success for her by going out of the way. In short, I can tell you, when you going beyond the rules is extremely important if you want to be successful in life. How can you go? It is either you, when you go beyond rules, you can be extremely successful or you can be failure. How can you go beyond rules? For that, you have to have complete knowledge of standard rules. What is the standard requirement? You should know it. You should work hard, practice, and master the rules. You should have mastered the standard rules. Then after that, you analyze personal skills and needs. Everybody has his own abilities, he has own his skills, he has his own needs. And considering all this, sit with yourself and customize your own way towards success. Customizing your own towards success is the most important thing, because success has got no. You have to find your own path towards success. And if you are genuine, if you want it, you are ready to work for it, you are ready to give your time and pleasures for it, for the success, you will definitely be successful. Success will come to you. With this, I stop here.
Uh, Thank you, Dr. Girish Valavalkar, for such a lovely session. You explained rules and overrules with apt examples. So now the session is open for question and answers. You may unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can type in chat box and sir will answer to this. Please. Any questions?
Okay. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes. Any questions? Yes.
To the meeting. Stop presenting.
Sir, there is one comment.
Yeah.
Amit sir, Amit Rane has written,
Yeah.
nice presentation with the concept of Atmanirbhar. How ethical is it? Give a healthy competition to already existing brand. Take example of Ramdev product. They are giving competition to every brand. Do you think it is ethical?
Of course, it is ethical. Mr. Amit, when you are in the business, you have to compete. Unless you compete, you cannot be successful. So it is quite acceptable that once you are in the business, you have to compete, and the pure competitors should protect themselves, either in price, either or in quality, or in delivery. They should have something, one advantage over you. If they don't have, you will win the game. So competition, nothing is unethical in competition. Competition is part of business, part of the success, and without competition you cannot survive. I think, Amit, do you agree with this? Hello.
Yeah, he said agreed. Okay. Any other question? Yes.